is the Matrix.
Welcome back to a brand new video of the Targeted Individual Program, Targeted Experience, and had a little bit of technical difficulties because, again, they started to just mess with the software, OBS, and I can see here again that this my spectralizer, right, my music spectralizer that you see here as I'm speaking, how it it gives you an indication. All right, so I had just adjusted certain things, and actually I think my mic okay, so now that sounds better, right? So I literally had to go back into the filters and in the spectralizer, and then exit out of there. And now look again, these issues I don't usually have, but again, because I'll tell you why, it's the color. Right, there's a reason why they do these things, right? The reason why is because, again, with the more I keep exposing what it is that they're doing, is the more they try to take away my disability, right? The more how they try to do things, work behind the scenes, take away my disability in order to silence me. All right. So again, as with us black people, right? If you're a TI, you're a black person. If you're not a TI, you're a black person. This is what they do to us, right? Because when black people protest, they don't like that. When black people protest against police killing, they don't, white supremacists and white supremacy, they don't want black people protesting the ill treatment of us as black people, the killing of black men and women, boys and girls at the hands of racist police officers, right? So they don't want us to protest. So what do they do? What do white supremacists do? In any type of warfare, and I keep saying, black people don't understand that they're in a war, and they've been in a war. Okay? They don't quite understand that. All right? Maybe some of them do. This is why you see that, like I talked about earlier, and I'll show you in the video, when I talk about black people in America will have zero wealth by the year 2053. Okay? And I'm not kidding when I say this. All right? I am not kidding at all when I say this. Let me bring up the article so I can just show you guys. Hold on a sec. All right, just have to find both articles. One on the greatest wealth transfer that is going to happen in the next few decades, and also the article I'm talking about. Okay. Now, also, I'm going to show you guys how liberal white media will engage in manipulation to give black people a false sense of what is happening, okay, and to make us forget the reality of what is about to happen. Okay. All right. So but first, let's go to today in Corrupt Police USA, Corrupt Cops USA. This is not a video that's going to show you any sort of police engaging in brutality, but this is from the website Runaway Slave 2.0. Right? Law enforcement is using this excuse to justify taking the lives of black people. All right. So shout out to the brother Runaway Slave 2.0. Okay. And I'm just going to play just, a minute or two. All right. Just to, again, I don't want my video to be flagged for copyright, infringement, what have you. And again, there's a big fair use content copyright disclaimer up here. Okay. But I could read the article for you guys, but I enjoy listening to this brother. So, I don't listen to him all the time, but most times I do listen to him. I enjoy listening to him. All right, comes with the truth. That's what I said. For those of us who speak the truth about what's really happening, they're going to attack us, right? And you can see that we don't get the type of subscribers of people who tell lies and engage in delusional behavior with a delusional mindset. Because we have been conditioned to love the delusional mindset because our mindset is very much delusional and dysfunctional.
Thanks to all my subs and supporters who watch, like, share, and comment on the videos. It's greatly appreciated. Anybody who would like to support the channel, the link to my book, The N-Word is No Secret in the Service, is in the description of every video. We also have the Runaway Slave store, link in the description. Go grab yourself a souvenir or something like that. Let's cook. Okay, people. In this video, we're going to go over another commonly used, but not so popular excuse that the authorities are using and have been using to justify taking the lives of Black people who are in their custody unjustly. And when I say the authorities, I mean law enforcement, the coroner, the medical examiners, the EMTs, any one of these people who play a role, okay? And making sure that we're supposed to make sure that people are safe or okay and do their job. Now, the one excuse that we already know about that they commonly use, we covered it many times on this channel, is called excited delirium. Now, this thing called excited delirium, they have used this time and time again to explain why a Black person who was in their custody or somebody who they apprehended or somebody who's in their jail or their hospital or whatever ended up passing away. And they've been saying, okay, well, that's it. We have no responsibility in the death of this Black person. They passed away from excited delirium. Now, this thing called excited delirium, it was created by a white supremacist.
All right. Now, so as you said the word excited delirium, they used the call on. Okay. Also, I am going to skip past this commercial. Okay, give me a sec.
Wetly. Now, this guy, Charles,
okay, let's go back.
It was created by a white supremacist named Charles Wetly. Now, this guy, Charles Wetly, was a Miami-Dade chief forensic pathologist. Now, this excited delirium that he created is grounded in racism. It's a fabricated condition, and they're using it time after time after time just because they want to. It's one of them things that was created. I'm white, and I said so I could create something like this. Now, this guy, Charles Wetly, said that Black people may have a genetic defect that caused them to die spontaneously after using small amounts of narcotics. That's what he said.
Okay. All right. So I am going to leave it at that right here. But, the brother's absolutely right. You've had white people got arrested, sometimes even violently, had cocaine in their system, and they don't die from that, right? From this excited delirium. But like I said, when I talk about the majority of the predator department, or what they call law enforcement in the U.S., is a racist and white supremacist system, which we know it is. Okay, I don't have to make shit up. Like I said, I don't have to do that. As I said, make shit up. They're like, whoosh. All right. So, excuse me. They always do these type of sound effects, like, whoosh, or shoo. They'll project the sounds, as I'm sitting here doing my videos, and you know what? I'm gonna take off noise cancellation, so you guys might hear a little bit of background noise, but I do it because I want you guys to hear the sound effect that they'll use. Okay, and sometimes it'll be very, very low. So if you have headphones, turn it up. Okay, so this is again, this is what they've been doing. They've been killing Black men and getting away with it. Okay. These people will use any excuse. They will make up their own uh, ways to kill black people and get away with it. It's like with the runaway slave, as the title of the YouTube channel, right? They said that when black Africans enslaved people ran away, that they have a mental illness called drapetomania. Okay? Why would you run away from being beaten, from being sexually assaulted, from being, brutalized, sodomized, right? Why would you run away from that? You should be loving that, right? You should love the fact that we give you a place to live, right? We give you clothes, even though the clothes, it was really nothing, right? So why you run away? We feed you, and that's the mindset, and it still holds true today. Okay, but now, like I said, they will always justify taking the lives of black people. They will always justify doing things to black people, and they will have other black people justify in the same sort of mindset, because these are so-called responsible Negroes, right? But they're not responsible. These are Negropeans who are allowed to rise up the ranks, but in order, I'm talking about in the police department, but in order for them to do that, they have to show their white supremacist master and their co-workers, their white co-workers or non-black co-workers, that they're doing a good job. And to do a good job, meaning that they'll turn you loose against your own people, because they understand how they condition you. They understand how they program you. Okay? And I always say, these officers, these Sambos and Sambinas, okay, and not all of them on the police officers, not all black police officers on the police force are Sambos and Sambinas. Because we've seen some great black police officers who literally put their career at risk, exposing the racist treatment of not only black people on the police force, but black people in society. Okay? And then when you have, and we see this all the time, again, I'm not making this up. Whenever you have black mayors, black governors, black politicians, they never want to do anything for black people. They fall into the same way of thinking as the white racists. And I'm talking about here in New York City, you have Mayor Eric Adams, who brought back stop and frisk. Why? To appease white people and to get their vote. Okay? There's a reason why stop and frisk was deemed unconstitutional. But you have a Sambo figure, okay, who is willing to throw his own people under the bus, who is willing to risk the lives of your children if you're a black person, and you as a black person yourself, right, to risk your life, okay, so he can appease the very same people who, if he wasn't known as how he is now, even as a black police officer, right, go to one of these wealthy neighborhoods where you have predominantly white people. You as a black police officer, just go walk around there and see what happens to you. We tend to not want to understand our reality because we are conditioned to ignore the reality in which we are in. And like I said, I will never blame black people for the behavior, the way of thinking they believe in, because we are living in a system of white supremacy that is meant to do what? To enslave our minds with their ideas of who we are. Okay? So we don't have a knowledge of self. We still today have an identity problem, because as Dr. Amos Wilson said, it is the falsification of the African consciousness, the black mind, to give us a false consciousness to where we don't look at our reality. We just live in the now. We don't think about the future. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so when I talk about, in the video, you'll hear me, I went on a rant, a tirade. I get all passionate sometimes. But I have to. And, being that I've taken off the noise reduction, it is relatively quiet outside. Okay? It is relatively quiet. Okay? So just that's to let you know how much they have me under surveillance and remote monitoring. Okay? So they're not, they usually, with the noise, the car honking, the sirens, when I say certain things. Right? And I may hear it, but it'll be very, very faint. Okay? So let's look at what is coming down the pipeline for black people. Since we are so ignorant and want to be up in church kikiing and, praise the Lord and hallelujah. If your God that you believe in love you, if your God that you believe in loves you, why would your God let this happen? Why would your God let this happen? African Americans' wealth may fall to zero by 2053. Okay? You can have a glamorous six-figure salary, advanced degrees, and an executive title at a large corporation and still be impacted by the negative network virus that is prevalent in black communities. According to the Road to Zero Wealth report published by Prosperity Now and the Institute for Policy Studies, the median wealth of black Americans will fall to zero by 2053 if current trends continue. All right? For decades, we've been told that education is the great equalizer. Unfortunately, more education does not automatically translate into more household wealth in black communities. And it doesn't. It doesn't. Why? Because we don't control financial institutions that is there to benefit us. When we do create banks to benefit us, what do you think happened? Go look at the history. Go look at the history of the black banks in America and how the white financial institution destroyed those banks. They sabotage everything black people do as a group in order to keep us in a subservient position. Okay? And because of their manipulation of our minds, we have an unconscious condition of learned self-helplessness. And so we indulge in religion as if it's our saving grace. It is not our saving grace. Religion is not your saving grace. Okay? I'm just reading to you what all economists are saying about black people in America. And ain't no amount of praying you can do that's going to fix it. Because I'll tell you what, the same God you worship is the same God that's telling white people to keep you down. It's the same God that's telling white people to not give you a fair wage. Right? Because black people are still paid less than white people. Again, you look at the average salary for white men, it is $58,000. For white women, it is about what? 54, 53. For black men, it's 47, or almost $50,000. For black women, it's $42,000 a year. You need to start open up your eyes, looking at the reality, and start coming together. Start coming together to address the issue, because you're waiting and praying for this God to come. He is not coming. The Bible says Jesus already came. He already, and I don't mean for y'all Christian European females. You know, I know Jesus is your man. He's your husband. Okay, but he's not real. Okay, he is not real. Get yourself a black man, one who is committed to you, one who loves you. Respect him. Be feminine. Be friendly. Be supportive. Because you're going to find the way how we're moving as black people is we're going to be old, separated, and alone, and bitter. That's the direction we're headed in. That's one of the direction we're headed in. Okay? So on top of that, student loan debt has delayed the wealth building dreams of many many educated African Americans. Now, why is that? You don't think the financial markets had anything to do with that? You don't think their manipulation of our mothers, particularly when it comes to their daughters, right? Putting themselves in student loan debt for degrees that's not going to pay them enough to pay back their student loans and live a decent lifestyle? Yeah, blame your mama for that. But also understand that they have been manipulated to manipulate you into taking out all these student loans for degrees that's not, like I said, that's not going to pay you the salary that you need to pay back those loans within a decade. Some black women are taking a college loan that's almost a house. And then guess what? Then they got to find a man who's making, a lot of money to help them pay off their debt. And that should not be any man's responsibility. That's your responsibility. Okay? And if a man wants to do that, good for him. Then that's a man that you need to be committed to and stay married to or what have you. But that's not what they're doing. They have been conditioned into making decisions that is detrimental to their mindset and to their lives. So student debt, the biggest group of people who have excess student debt are black women. Okay? So the National Center for Education Statistics, NCES, note that an estimated 77.7% of black students borrow federal student loan to pay for higher education, as opposed to 57.5% of white students. Studies continuously show that black students are more likely to go into debt in order to live the dream of walking across the stage as a college graduate. Going to college is the first business decision many people will make, said Jeff Wilson II, author of The Lies Our Parents Were Sold and Told Us. Okay? You got to understand this is a capitalist country, and they will find devious ways in order to make profits off of people. What they did with the college is what they did with the housing market. The predatory lending, right? And now is this the predatory borrowing of lending of for college. Okay. Anyway, this shit makes me so angry, like literally. It's ridiculous. It really is. All right. So now listen. So while black Americans will have zero wealth by the year, what's the year it is again? 2053. As I say, what year it is again? You guys hear the sirens? Okay, because again, I can't remember. So pay attention now, right? Because being that I mentioned that it was all quiet, their ego coming, right? So the ego is going to come in and they're going to now start using it, which is perfect. Because again, it's all the proof that I need. Okay? So, the great wealth transfer is underway. Here's how to prepare. Now, I just read about black Americans will have zero wealth by 2053. And then they have the great wealth transfer on the way. And who did they put on in this article? The picture of? The black mother, father, and the son, right? But we know that, at least I know, for those of us who understand the reality, I know that when, even for wealthy black people, when they pass away and they give their kids, their inheritance, those kids end up into their children, I should say, not kids. Their children, right? Their young adults who or have you, they end up back into poverty within 10 years, or losing the majority of their inheritance within 10 years. But I want you to understand how disingenuous the liberal media is. They're not going to put a white family up there because that's who this wealth transfer is being given to. White children of wealthy white people. Okay? And I have to do this because, again, I want to show you guys how the media play a part in giving us a false perception of reality. Right? This is what is called cognitive warfare, using psychological operations to manipulate people's mind, to manipulate black people's mind in particular. This is why black people don't act with urgency. Right? Black people would rather fight another black person who's telling them the truth than fight the white supremacists and white supremacy that is destroying their lives and the lives of our children, destroying our community. Okay, listen, I have so much information on white supremacy and what they do. From the theft of black homes to the banks and real estate agents getting black people fired from their jobs so they can steal their property. Okay? These people will go through great lengths to take what's yours. They've always done it. It ain't nothing new. Okay? So the great wealth transfer is underway and families need to prepare. According to a certified financial planner, Stacey Francis, president and CEO of Francis Financial in New York City, an estimated $84 trillion of wealth will change hands by 2045, with the majority going to Gen X and millennial heirs, according to Cerulli Associates. The real reality is that most families are not talking about money, said Francis, speaking at CNBC's Your Money event on Thursday. In some cases, adult children are not inheriting as much as they think, so it is important to manage expectation, says Francis, who is also a member of CNBC's Financial Advisor Council. Okay? So I just want to just to give you context of what it is when I have these passionate speeches, these rants that I have, right? Because again, this is planned. What's happening to us is planned. It's not an accident. It's not an act of nature. It's not an act of God. It's not you know what I'm saying? It is intended. It is planned. It is executed. Right? To manipulate us to ignore the reality. And so anybody who's going to speak the truth, any black person, white person, Hispanic person that's going to speak the truth, they're going to attack you too. Okay? They're going to attack you too. Hispanic people have more wealth than black people. Okay? So when 2054, when black people, again, it's projected to have zero wealth, it will take 2 decades after for Hispanic people to have what? zero wealth. Okay? So why do you think there's such a separation now between blacks and Hispanics? Hispanic people, you better listen. All right? The white supremacy is only going to use you for their advantage. And once they've accomplished what they want to do, which is to destroy black people, you're going to be next. You are going to be next. Like I said, there's a reason why they flooded the borders with migrants. Okay? Who do you think is creating the instability in those countries? Okay? Do I need to go through the history? All right? And these black mayors in these cities, they like to talk about God this and Jesus this. But why y'all not doing this for black people, for your own people? Any logical person, black person, will say, why is it that you can spend here in New York City is about to pay $220 million, and you think I'm I'm telling you, this shit isn't. Look, I have nothing against migrants, okay? The reason why they're here is because of what the U.S. have been doing in South America for decades, okay? So I cannot blame them in any way. Okay, I put the blame at the head of where it's supposed to be, which is the American government, the CIA, the military industrial complex. They're causing all these conflicts in these countries, causing people to flee, to come here. For what? One of the agenda is to dilute the black whatever little political power black people have. That's one of the reasons. The second reason, and again, this is just my speculation, is to implant the majority of these migrants with microchips so they can go back to their country and become unwitting and unknowing spies. Okay? Now call me crazy if you want to. But like I said, I don't put anything take anything off the table when it comes to white supremacists and white supremacy. Okay? Shoot, what else? Okay, so I was looking, what was I looking for again? And again, see, I forget. Anyway, it'll come back to me. I was just about to do a search for it, but it'll come back to me. Anyhow, yeah, but this is something that they have been doing, and they have engaged in this sort of these things for decades. All right, so it's nothing new. It's nothing new. Okay, this is who they are, and this is what they do, and we are in church, literally praying our lives away. That's what we're doing, and we're praying our children's lives away. Right? We live by hope and prayer. And they'll say, I live by faith, not by sight. Well, you're a damn fool. Okay, if you're living by faith, not by sight. And because you're living by faith is the reason why you don't see this coming. Right? But again, these pastors don't give a shit. They don't care. Okay? You've already made them multimillionaires, so they'll be fine. But if you're not worried about your own self and your children, then there are those of us who are worried enough to want to tell you the truth and to tell you the truth, so that hopefully you can open your eyes, open your mind's eyes, and realize what's going on. Okay. All right. Let's get back to my video. I can't remember what I was going to look for. All right. And I'm not kidding. All right. But again, it happens. So let's get to my videos. Okay. Hold on a sec. Let me.
Hi, welcome to a brand new video of the Targeted Individual Program, talking about experience as I said the word targeted here at the Hong. Again, it's things that I say that they'll honk their horn that are directly specific to when I talk about my target, right? So what you guys listen. So I get a text from here saying that she's going to be home. She took the week off to take care of the situation. I'm like, what situation? I don't know what you're talking about. What's the situation? So I texted back. I said to her, what situation are you talking about? So, and then I said we're talking. The car horn also. So apparently, as far as the subliminal messages goes, talking or what have you, I guess she can't talk to me. Because she's been texting me. Usually.
Yeah, well, that's what happened when she's, start dating somebody, what have you. Or maybe it's the same person she did, I don't know. But, she gets like this, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I've had enough of it, so I don't really care at this point. So, yeah, so the text is like, I took the week off of work on the situation, right? So I don't know what's going on maybe with Ethan, right? Because she asked me to, leave the keys with Ethan. So the situation I have maybe happened at a school, you know what I'm saying? It was my hope that it would be maybe because she was looking up her apartment, but I don't know. But anyhow, and again, the situation with Ethan shouldn't warrant him being suspended from school. He didn't do anything, he didn't do anything intentionally. He was playing around and, accidentally hit, this the girl he was playing around with, and a little bit of the orange juice went on her, so she poured the orange juice over his head. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, so again, but like I said, I keep telling her, I said, when you don't make sure that he gets out of the house on time to go to school, he's going to have a reputation with the teachers. Okay. And the teacher's going to start to pick on him. Then other kids are going to start to pick on him. And hence the reason why, because I wanted to put him get him to take, martial arts, but she ended up taking him to, which is fine, but it's probably one of the reasons why she did it too, because she know that he will likely be bullied, right? Because if he's always coming to school late, missing school, eventually, like I said, the teachers are not going to teach him, are going to treat him, favorably. Okay? And instead of her changing her mindset, right, she rather do everything else instead of changing her mindset. Because that's what she does. That's who she is. No accountability. Okay? No accountability at all. So this is what's, again, what's happening. So she had to go meet she has to have a meeting in school. They didn't tell me about it. You know what I'm saying? She didn't mention it to me at all. And, I went to there, pick him up. But when it comes to this, like I said, I want no part of it because I've spoken to her many times. I used to go to the school. I've spoken to the principal. I've spoken to the vice principal. I've spoken to guidance counselors, right? But there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. Okay? Like I said, my daughter didn't get to school until minutes to 10 this morning. How are these kids supposed to learn anything if, like I said, she rather have fun and she would leave them all night by them. And as I said, that she would leave them all night by themselves. They like to use the siren. Now, again, when they do this, right? Like I said, a lot of these women, they're white supremacists. They are white supremacists. Okay? And so, you will see them do things to negatively impact their children because they want to live a life of fun or whatever lifestyle they want to live and ignore their children. Okay? And then want to blame me. Well, you with them in the afternoon. No, I take my daughter to the Boys and Girls, which she loves to go. I have to take her there. But if if you're not making sure she goes to bed on time, okay? Sometimes when I leave there and I call her, I said, hey, Alyssa's bathing. Afterwards, she's going to go to bed. All right? And I get home and I call her after 10:30. Hey, are the kids in bed? No, they're not. Why not? Take their devices from them. Well, why can't you do that before you leave? I do that. But when I leave, guess what? They're up. When I call her, she's sleeping. Like I said, Sunday, she, came in the house early in the morning. Right, kids were still up. They ain't go to bed until 9 o'clock. Okay, I got there around, minutes to 1. Okay, she's supposed to do laundry. That didn't happen. She just put the clothes in the laundry basket and then went into her room to draw a paint or what have you, a sketch. And then she went to sleep. All right. And then on top of that, before that, she was being very, very nasty, very argumentative. And I was like, well, I guess you might have a good time. You out all night. So now you want to give me this nasty attitude. And so, like I said, this is why I don't do a lot of things that I used to do. Because when I do those things, she takes advantage and her attitude towards me is very negative. And so I'm not doing it anymore. Like she had the nerves to come in one day and like, what are you doing? Why don't you clean up? Or you're lazy. And I'm like, oh, okay. You think that's going to work on me, huh? And I'm like, you think that's going to work on me? Yeah, it doesn't work. Particularly when, again, the woman is very, very disrespectful. When, I got to tell her, I said, those men that you're dating, or whoever you did, wouldn't do what I do. That's for sure. Okay? And it isn't because I'm on disability. Even if I was working and making a good side, I still wouldn't do it. I mean, not say I still wouldn't do it. I wouldn't have that attitude as I'm not going to do certain things. Right? Because in a relationship, in a marriage, what have you, in a partnership, there's certain things that, that you do. Right? For me, I've always done housework. It's not a problem. Laundry, cooking, cleaning. That is a fundamental thing for me. Why? Because that's a life skill. You live on your own. You need to be able to do those things. Right? You shouldn't be praised for doing those things. You should know those things. And if you don't, learn it. And let's say that she doesn't cook and she doesn't do laundry. She just don't like to clean. Okay? And she's very, again, she has a health issue. So I will give her that. And I've always given her that. But again, when I have my issues, it's non-existent in her mind. And so when I told her I'm going to adopt your mindset and not and do it when I'm ready, that's when she told me to leave. Which is hilarious, it's funny, I can tell you. But anyhow, let's get back to the video.
She called me just to let me know certain things, like even today with Ethan in school. She didn't call me and she didn't text me to let me know the situation with Ethan. But the guidance counselor called me. All right, they're threatening her. Right?
Let's go back a little bit here because I accidentally hit.
So anyway, I guess they're threatening her.
But she sent me a text saying, why didn't I tell her that I was picking up Ethan? Now, they had already spoken to her. When they called me, to let me know that Ethan that he wants to go home, and for me to come pick him up. I'm like, okay, fine. Because if you pour orange juice all over him, he's wet, right? Can't spend the rest of the day in school. It's winter outside. So anyhow, so she texted me. Why didn't I let her know that I was picking up Ethan? The same way you didn't let me know what was going on with Ethan, that the school had to call me. Okay? That's the reason. All right? So again, now she's one to act, she's all concerned. And the reason why like I said, I know how she is. Whenever she's talking to somebody new, all of a sudden she want to act like she's concerned about the kids and this and that. Right? Meanwhile, our daughter could have swollen hands or swollen ankle, right? And she's telling her, oh, it's your imagination. Okay? There are times me and my daughter would leave to go to the emergency room, right? Because she might have sprained her ankle and stuff like that. And her mother's there the entire weekend. And I come and I'm like, okay, let's go. We're going to the emergency room. Because she would rather be on the phone or sleep. So now that she's talking to somebody, all of a sudden now she want to act concerned. When I talk about chameleons, she's a chameleon. Okay? These are men and women who will act a certain way when they're around certain people, when they're talking to certain people, right? Because again, they lack an idea of who they are. So you can pull them left and right. That's what they do to young people today. Confuse them. So now you have them saying that they're bi-curious and all this nonsense, and because everything is cool to them now, right? They've been conditioned with a mindset that I have to be cool, I have to engage in certain things in order to be cool. It is how they create normalcy with dysfunctionality. Okay? And so if you don't instill in your children, right, a sense of who they are, right, whether it be their sexual identity, whether it be who they are as a person besides their sexual, identity, but who they are, whether they're kind, whether they're considerate, whether they're respectful, right? Whether they have certain types of ethics. But what they've done with young people today is make them focus on their sexual identity, right? And changing their sexual identity to be more open and more fluid, all right? What they call, you'll hear some women say, oh, well, I'm fluid. Meaning that if I like you, I like you, doesn't matter. And it should, because they don't talk about the psychological damage that they're doing to young people, particularly young women. And I'm going to do a topic on that. I'm going to go deep down in the psychological, biological differences, right, when young women engage in certain activities as opposed to young men, right? Both can be damaged psychologically, but for women, they can be damaged even more psychologically, particularly when it comes to sex and intercourse, because they're biologically different. And there are certain things that within them as women that men don't have, right? So I'm going to do a video on that, because we need to talk to our children about the differences and what they're doing, particularly in liberal cities, and they're blurring the lines between the differences between men and women. Okay? And I'm going to explain to you why is that. It's a transhumanism agenda that's taking place. Okay? And this is why you see also the breakup of families, because in liberal cities and liberal states, okay, they're more interested in capitalism. And so separating people is looked at as a way to increase revenues for certain products, right, for certain industries, And so I'm going to talk about that. All right. All right. Let's get to the video. And being that, I'm home for the rest of the week, I'm going to focus on bringing you guys those content.
Right? And again, I don't care whether she called me or not. I am, like I said, I'm at the point where I'm so done with the disrespect that,
Listen to what I'm saying.
and again, she don't listen. Right? So, like I said, I can't talk you can't talk into sense to someone who is full of nonsense. Right? And, it's just the way it is. Right?
Okay. Now, as I'm speaking, right, I want you guys to listen, and you can hear the very faint siren sound, right? It's like, whoop, whoop, whenever I say certain words in the video, okay?
And like I said, you can't continue to beat a dead horse in the mouth, expecting it to come back to life. Right? When people are conditioned a certain way, they don't have the self-awareness. Okay, so I was like, if she's talking about cleaning up her apartment, I hope she does. Do I think she's going to do it? No. Because she's taken off weeks from her job before, right, to clean her home. And, it doesn't happen. Right? It does not happen. And I keep telling her that you need therapy. But they refuse to go, a lot of these women refuse to go to therapy because they think that there's nothing wrong with them. Right? They're literally, They're literally saying that there's nothing wrong with them, right? That it's always the man's fault. It's always our fault, gentlemen. Right? It's always the man's fault. And then these people are always scheming, always plotting. Right? New York Credit Department, of course. They show up. They love to show up when, they probably manipulated her too. But probably they are. And like I said, she feels protected because these racists are, sending her to honey traps and what have you, and that's what they do. But like I said, she's gonna come to a hard crash. A hard crash. It'll happen. Okay, without a doubt, it's gonna happen. And like I said, whoever she's talking to, you let them come take care of her, because I'm not doing it again. I've done it too many times to be disrespected in the way that she's been disrespecting me. That's not happening. And treating the kids in such a way that, ignoring their education, ignoring their mental health, right? Just because she wants to go out there and have her fun. And like I said, I gotta teach my son how to cook. Once I'm able to make him, teach him how to prepare simple meals, right? At least his favorite, very simple his favorite that he can make for him and his sister. Because let me tell you, the way how she is, she ain't changing her ways at all. And, leaving these kids all night, right by themselves, that they didn't go to bed until 9 o'clock in the morning. And then her excuse is that, they stayed up late Friday night. I'm like, okay, again, always trying to justify her action with something else. And always putting it on the kids. Never on her. Never on her realize, like I said, these women, the healthcare industry is one of the biggest employers of black women. They're nurses, they take psychology, child development psychology, and they never use their education, they never use their on-job experience to analyze their children, mental health, physical health, right? Because they're too busy working and claiming that, I work all week, so I should be able to go out and play this and that. Man, you 15 years old. With two kids. With two kids for the past, since they turned, 5 and start going to school? That you decide.
Okay, and I'm not talking about that, that you can go out. That's not what I'm saying. All right, let me get this straight. What I'm saying is this, okay? That going out should not be your priority on the weekend. right? That should not be a priority before your children. Okay? But their priority is going out, hanging out with their friends. Well, I gotta have a social life. No one is saying you don't have to have a social life, right? But here's the thing, and I've said this to her for the past couple of years. I said for the past couple of years, I think that they, her parents, with the kids, they go on a cruise, and I clean up her entire apartment, like literally clean my entire apartment, clean up her bedroom, throw away stuff. When they come back, apartment is immaculate. Okay, her bedroom, clean up her bedroom, pack up her clothes, pack up whatever stuff. You know what I'm saying? Throw stuff away. You can see the floor. You can, what have you. And I said, hey, next couple of weeks, take some time to go through what's in these bags. What you don't want, you can give them away, what have you. And I'm not kidding you. Within the space of 2 weeks, she will throw everything out of those plastic bags on the floor. And I've done that countless times over the years. So this is why I don't do it anymore. Because on top of that, it takes me an entire week, right? Literally, it takes me an entire week, okay? And every day I'm taking muscle relaxers twice a day. Okay? And when she comes back, no appreciation, nothing. It's just, oh, thank you, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? I don't even get a back massage. I don't even get, I'm not asking for anything, right? But when I'm in pain and my back is hurting, and I'm like, hey, can you give me a back massage? Oh, she'll start off. She's like, okay, fine. And then within a couple of minutes, that's it. I'm done. Right? Meanwhile, I can massage her for 2-3 hours. Okay? That's why, again, I don't do it. The last time I said I wasn't going to do it. I haven't done it for a long time. Last time I did it, again, took full advantage. Right? I said take full advantage. They're like, listen, again, I understand as a black man, the white supremacists, their ideology, their false narrative, but it's not going to work on me. Sorry. Okay? It's not going to work on me. And you see, one of the things that they'll do is that they'll put you in a position to where you can't really do what you want to do for the people around you, for your family, for your kids, people around you, right? And then they will punish you for that. I'm talking about these women, these modern day European women. All right? Because that's their mindset. They're more focused on what their child's father can do in terms of money, as opposed to spending time with his children and making sure that they do things together, right? But they want that money, that child support money, and most of the time they're using that child support money for their own, for their own benefit, not for the children's benefit, for their own benefit. Right? Because again, they'll tell you, "Oh, that's my money." How's it your money? Well, I'm paying rent and this and that. Well, you're an adult, right? You're an adult. You're supposed to do that. But the money that you get for the children is not your money; it's their money. But that's their mindset.
That you just go check out their education. That you're not going to help them with their homework, right? That you're going to hire somebody to watch them during the pandemic, and then telling me that's not her job to help them with their homework. Like, what kind of shit is that? Right? But it's all my fault. Yeah. Oh, well, you should have stayed. Yeah, I'm going to stay there and be disrespectful. Right? I'm going to stay there after you broke up with me. Right? I did stay there. Right? For a couple more years.
Right? Just to help out.
But it's disrespect. Right? And I'm like, no, you know what I'm saying? What about, what was it? I was like, grow some fucking balls. Grow some balls, okay? Because that's what she's going to do. She's making that, you supported her to her.
It's like, leave her alone. Walk away. walk away. But if I did that, the kids would be in a worse state than they are today. Literally. I'm serious about that. I mean, she was to get mad at me and angry at me. And I said, I'm not doing that. I'm not, I said, you don't have any kids. It's easy for you to tell me to walk away from my kids. But I'm not doing that. For my children, I should say. Right? But I'm not walking with my children. But that's what they want. This is what they want. When they want to live a certain lifestyle, when they want to live, or they're dating somebody new, and they, well, you know what? I'm going to give this person my all and do this and that. When you should have given the person you was in the relationship with before your all, when that person was giving you their all, when that person was committed to you. But it's the idea in their mind that there's always something better out there, that they're willing to let their grass turn dry instead of watering it, right? Because they see another yard, a bigger yard that has more green grass on it. So that's what they want. And what, time and time again, these women, when they do things like this, what happens? They end up going to the streets. So they end up racking up body counts, right? And then they become even more jaded, even more bitter, because the men that they ruin their relationship for don't take them seriously. Because, again, they go by their feelings. So you may not like me because I'm truthful with you. You may not like me because I will hold you accountable, right? And you may not like me because I tell you no, right? But you can tell me no, and I'm supposed to tell you yes. No, it doesn't work like that. It's about compromise. It's about respect. It's about seeing the other person as a human being. Okay? And a lot of these women today don't see particularly black men as human beings because they've been conditioned by the white supremacists to not see us as human beings. Right? And this is how they can talk so disparagingly against us as black men. And when we speak the truth about who they are, then it's like, why are you all talking bad about black women? Well, all over social media, you can see videos of black women talking about black men ain't shit and this and that and such. You don't see black men saying black women ain't shit and do all that stuff. When black men speak on black women, we speak about the things that they do. We don't have the type of degrading language that they use, that black women use towards black men. We don't do that. But that is how they're conditioned. This is the liberal feminist, the white feminist mindset that has been conditioned into their mind. Right? And I keep telling you, for these black women, when you start following white feminists and their agenda against your men, see, the white woman knows that with her man, she's going to be protected. Right? But she shows him through her action that she loves him, that she cares, that she's protective of him, as well as he's going to show he's protective of her. Remember, in this election, what happened? More white women, again, voted for Trump. Okay? And a lot of these white women, their job is to destroy your black relationship, your black marriage. But, they'll pick a Nigerian woman or a Nigerian men, elevate them, give them a position, make them feel they're part of the crew, sleep with them, all to manipulate them to destroying their family. And they get a rise out of it. They get a kick out of it. They go home to their husbands, their wives, and talk about how stupid these black men and women are. How they can be so easily manipulated. Okay, y'all haven't heard some of these little white kids that come out and say, oh, our parents talk this about black people. These are these same parents that work alongside black people. All right? And these are not people in the South. This is in New York. This is in Chicago. This is in LA. This is in Miami. Liberal cities. Philadelphia. Y'all keep drinking that Kool-Aid.
Education, and now that she's making that money,
that Kool-Aid is sweet. Let me tell you, that Kool-Aid is sweet. But guess what happens when you drink too much sugar? Guess what happens? Right? It's bad for your health.
She leaving your ass because she thinks it's better. But that's what they all do because that's how they're being conditioned. They're being conditioned to think that because they got a degree and they got a good job, now that they're better than the man who, was there with them. Right? I'm not taking anything from her. She was there for me in certain things, but only when it benefited her. Right? I'm there for her even when it didn't benefit me. That's the difference. Okay, when it benefited her the most. Okay? That's the difference. But the racist cops, who's engaging in cognitive warfare and subtle and frameworks to try to control black people, particularly black men, certain types of black men, because of their fear, and they're in the fear of public safety, because they're creating the public safety, they're creating the public hazard by doing what they do. And this is what you have to understand, as Malcolm X said. Malcolm X said that these racist police still applies today. Still applies today. Right? He said that they will assault you and then charge you with assaulting them. And we've seen it so many times. We've seen it so many. The video I showed from earlier of these two racist white cops, I think one is right, one was Hispanic, literally unloaded on this woman in handcuffs. This is a woman. Okay? So when it comes to these racist cops in the police force, they're not seeing no gender as being different. They'll handle you like a big ass man who they will abuse and beat. They'll do the same thing to you as a woman. Okay? It doesn't matter if you're 100 pounds and they're 200 or something pounds. It don't matter. What matters to them is that their narcissistic personality, right? Their dog tribe personality, and the fact that you stand up for your rights, right? And the fact that you're, as a woman, regardless of your copper, you should not do that to them. But they do. And they want black women to believe that they're protecting. They're not protecting y'all. They're using y'all. They're manipulating y'all to separate us as black people and the relationship between black men and black women. Right? I posted a video today about the down low sisters. This woman, she's a lesbian, but she's a therapist. And she said a lot of these women who are on the DL, right, who have boyfriends, who are married, they will set their husband up, they will set their boyfriend to be arrested and thrown in prison because they don't want them to find out that they're lesbian. Or if they choose to leave the relationship, they will do things so that they can manipulate that man, right, so they can put that man in jail so that they can have their relationship with their lesbian lover or their lesbian girlfriend. Right? This is the shit that they do. This is the shit that they do. Okay, and like I said, a lot of them have trauma that they don't unhealed trauma that they don't even want to heal.
Right? So when they feel like they're upgraded, right? So they will do things to the relationship that they ended. It could be with their children's father or just, their boyfriend or their husband, what have you, because they feel they're upgraded, right? And so they will do things to try to manipulate that man so that they can get them arrested and put out a restraining order because, and such, right? Women are notorious for doing that. And particularly black women have been taught to use the system against black men in that way. Okay, particularly when it comes to also child custody, right? A lot of them will be, particularly when there are predators working in the family courts, right? That if your child mother is, really, really good looking, these dudes in the family court will get into their ears and tell them what they want to hear and teach them how to manipulate you so that you won't get joint custody or even custody of your children, right? And again, this is a lot of things that they do. And again, I'm not making this stuff up. This is true, okay? Anyhow, let's continue with the video.
Because they become so toxic, right? And they use their trauma as a crutch so they can get sympathy from people, particularly because they're women. And black women love to do that shit. They do. They love to do that. They love to take on these white feminist talkers.
Right, and again, they don't quite understand how they're being used. Like I said, I don't blame them. You got to educate them. Just as with black men, we got to educate. We got to educate each other, right? We got to educate our women, all right? Because, when to destroy a nation of people, right? When you capture the mind of the women, and you turn the women against the men, okay? White supremacists knows this. We're the one that's just, ignorant of the facts. Okay?
We'll talk about it.
All right. Let's get to the next video.
Targeted individual program experience. So I never got a text back from Pam. I asked her what situation she's talking about. Like she's took the week off. The red vehicle 1, 2, right, 3, right there. See that? What? 1, 2, 3. Look at that over there. Right. So.
All right, let's go back. There you go.
Welcome back to another video of the Targeted Individual Program experience. So I never got a text back from Pam.
Now, on the videos, I made sure that on the output that the sound, because when you do when you want to hear the sound, right, particularly in the, when you're recording on your headphones, there is, let's do here. There is an advanced audio property. You have audio monitoring, right? And again, I was trying to test up my memory, but I never really, you guys never see me play a video without any sound because I'm pretty thorough when it comes to making sure that monitoring output is selected, right? But again, they do that because right? So the two words, monitor, remote neural monitoring, right? Monitoring within the home, right? And output, we're going to take you out of this program. Well, I never signed up to be in this program. Okay. And they have, over the years, have been trying to manufacture consent by doing underhanded things, right? This is why you see, like they'll threaten you with arrest or they'll threaten you with assassination. They'll, using cursive threats, right? Because this is what they do. This is the criminal mindset that they have. That they can engage in criminal activity, engage in illegal activity against us as TIs, illegal implanting us with microchips, right? Illegally doing things, poisoning, drugging, and so forth, honey trapping, setups, frame-ups, right? Because, again, they don't want us to expose what it is that they've been doing to us and what they've done to us, right? And whenever, like I said, whenever I start to forget things, they'll use their sirens, again, in a very coercive way. Okay? But like I always said, you ain't no amount of sirens you can use that if I don't remember anything, it's going to drop back my memory. It's not going to happen. Okay? But again, this is why, like I said, we need to change how people are recruited in the police department. Right? At least 2 years of college. Because we need a more educated police force. But they don't want that. They don't want a more educated police force because, then they're just not going to follow unlawful and illegal policies, right? Or programs enacted by the higher-ups in the Predator Department. They are going to question a lot more things, and they don't want that, Again, when you have a police force or a military and you condition them to not ask questions, only follow directions, then you get the outcome what happened in World War II in Nazi Germany. Okay? That's why history is so important for us to know.
I asked her what situation she's talking about. Right? She's took the week off. The red vehicle 1, 2, right, 3, right there. See that? What? 1, 2, 3. Look at that over there. Right? So, she never texted me back. Right? So again, this is what I talk about. You telling me you took the week off to take care of that situation. Like, what situation? You just, but that's how she's always been. Always secretive, always talking in code, right? Always giving you half the information, So I'm not calling her. I'll text her again, because again, to see what's going on. Yeah. All right. So yeah, this is what they do, man. They're, like I said, they're manipulating shit, working behind the scenes, in the shadows, right, covertly. But that's the cult mindset. That's the mindset of a destructive cult. Okay. And you gotta understand it. So look, she's talking about, oh, I need a rest. She told me yesterday, oh, I need a day of rest, I'm too tired, or whatever. And like I tell you, man, now you guys get, not only that now, but you guys get to see what I deal with. You guys get to see, listen, I know me as a TI, I can be a lot to deal with, particularly when it comes to my targeting, right? But the one thing I try to do is to not let my targeting affect our children negatively in terms of things that I do. Okay? So, like, for example, like when we're being microwave and being radio frequency, and my kids are targeting me, I don't get upset because I know it's not them. All right? It was Saturday when she went out. They were targeting me. They were using my son, Ethan, to engage in targeting. And he was like, Daddy, I'm hungry. Okay? So, as he was talking to me, they were using the sirens, right? Again, try to, and again, I'm not a violent person, and they know, because they understand M32, RML, M32, RML. And so, like I said, they were using him to target me, right? Like really, really bad. And they were using the sirens while he was doing the targeting. And again, it's not him. He is being manipulated, right? And so he turns around, he's like, Daddy, I'm hungry. So I got up and I went and made something to eat. Okay? I mean, like I said, because what they try to do is create a personality that's one that's, you suffer for PTSD, right? So they'll give you PTSD. They certainly will. Because I suffer from PTSD. But what they try to do again is manipulate the people around you to turn you against them, to turn them against you. And listen, those are my kids. If they're hungry, I'm going to make them to eat. I'm not going to make them wait until I'm ready. If they're hungry, I make them to eat. Even when they're not hungry, I'm asking them, are you hungry? Because that's who I've always been, right? I've had, I've seen people who have told me that they'll let their kids starve. That's how toxic their mindset is, right? That's how toxic their mindset is. Okay? People who would rather lay in bed until they're ready to get out of bed because their kids are hungry. Y'all feel the problem. What happened to the noise? What happened to the fire trucks? Right? So again, they try to create a narrative about you that's not true. They're the ones that are manipulating, doing covert things to change who you are as a person into somebody who they want you to be, which is to suit their narrative, to make you the bad guy, to make you the fall guy, right? To hide the fact that they've been experimented on, to hide the fact that they've been manipulated on, to hide the fact that they have engaged in terrorism against you and your people, right? But they always want to call people who fight back terrorists, okay? All right? Remember, you go overseas, the Americans are called, we here in America, they call us terrorists because of what we do globally around the world. Okay? Yeah, usually the sirens. That's true. That is true. Okay? That is true. America has caused so much war, particularly those in the military-industrial complex. Okay, millions of Iraqis died because of a lie. Right? Millions of Libyans died because because they wanted to get rid of Gaddafi. Not because he was, brutal against his own people, which he wasn't. The same thing they can say about Gaddafi and they can say about Saddam Hussein, we can say that about American government and American presidents who's been in office. We can say that. Okay? But America likes to patrol the world and to make it look as if America is the beacon of freedom, and it's not. As a person living in the United States who's been experimenting on, whose rights have been taken away, who have been constantly engaged in psychological warfare against people who I don't even know me, but they've been told what they've been told, and engaged in psychological warfare, poisoning me, all this other stuff, drugging me, all this stuff. Right? And it's not just me, there are thousands of us. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. Okay? Who do you think brought the drug culture to America? Right? But the CIA. And those within the military-industrial complex. Okay? America is a country that have constantly dropped bombs on black communities, a community where black people live. Go do your damn research. In the 1985, 86, the MOVE organization in Philadelphia, they dropped a bomb on black people. Right? Let's not talk about Tulsa, Oklahoma, and others. They dropped bombs on Black Town because Black Town was doing what people lie about. They sabotage black businesses. Anytime black people, as a group, gain any sort of economic wealth upliftment, right? They engage in predatory behavior against black people to take away their wealth, and they do it in the form of predatory lending. Go look this shit up. The housing market crash, and what they were doing to black people in particular. Right? It was to steal black wealth and to take back the property in which the bank had loaned black people to buy, because they knew that they couldn't afford to pay that mortgage. I mean, but they still doing it because they knew what they were doing. Okay, so black, like I said, Europeans are they have a very short-term memory in terms of history.
Okay. And again, just to show you guys, like I said, when I say these things, I'm not making this stuff up. Okay. Because again, I speak the truth. I'm not, unlike these people who create lies and engage in lying and manipulation, right? I don't have to do that. Okay. So I want to show you guys, again, this is from the National Low Income Housing Coalition, right? August 30th, 2013. Report shows African Americans lost half their wealth due to housing crisis and unemployment. Okay? So in 2013, black people lost half the wealth that they've accumulated. This is because of the housing market crash. Okay? Did you think white people lost half their wealth? No. Matter of fact, if you look at the wealth gap, you see that white people's wealth has continued to increase. Okay? Their wealth has continued to increase, where they have 10 times more wealth than the average black person, family, I should say. Okay? So, again, I don't need to make anything up. I'm just going to show you guys the truth. Now, whether you want to look at the truth and say, you know what? Yeah, that's the truth, or you want to keep indulging in your religious delusions and your ignorance to the reality, then that's on you. Okay? But I'm gonna give you guys the truth. Right? The truth ain't always sweet. It ain't always tasty. But when you know the truth, you can make it however you want. Right? Because you know the truth. I'm not going to tell you something that's not true so you can feel good. I'm not going to give you advice because you want to feel good. Right? Because what if the advice I'm giving you to make you feel good end up being a detriment to you? And that's what we've been taught to do. To tell each other things that make us feel good, but it's detriment to us, to our health, to our minds, to our spirit. And then when the reality hits, then we become reactionary. Right? We become reactionary. Right? 80% of black women in America is overweight, and out of those overweight, 80% of those is obese. When you're having health complication, when you're sick and your recovery time is longer because of your unhealthy weight. Right? But then you get on social media talking about, oh, I love my curves. Do you know why they don't show a lot of these, what do you call them, models who were big and they realized that, you know what, that body positivity movement helped destroy their health, and them pushing body positivity amongst other big women had did these women a disfavor, right? And so they're exercising, they lost the weight, they're doing content, but you don't see those on social media. They shadow ban them. Why? Because there's money. When people start eating healthy, watching their weight, that means McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's all lose profit. It means these clothing companies that make billions of dollars off of big women, they lose profits. And their job is always about maximizing and increasing their profits.
To the reality of white supremacy in this country and what white supremacy has done to black people. And not just in this country, but globally for black people. Okay, I watch young black women, mixed women in Korea, talking about, you know, they're the least desirable because these men don't want to have kids or date any N-words, right? You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, but these women are they're so disappointed. Why are you disappointed?
The reason why they target black women, right, in that manner, okay, is what? They're in Korea. You know, they're desperate, right? There's not a lot of black men there, right? It's all Korean men. And so what do you think happened? They pass them around. They let them know, you know, I've never been with a black girl, you know. I want to sleep with a black girl. And these girls will lower their standards because they want that intimate connection. They want that connection. You know, it's funny when I tell people that, you know, I'm almost 8 years in and being celibate. And I'm disciplined. Okay, when I talk about this, I'm disciplined. As much as they may throw honey traps my way, I'm not interested. Okay? You don't get to choose who I'm with. Okay? Not in the manner how they do it, particularly being that I'm a TI. No. Because they're basically going to introduce you to your handlers. Right? And I'm not into that. So, you know, and on top of that, listen, like I said, you know, if I date somebody else and there's not that any kind of attachment, particularly like they say with Pam, my kids, you know, I may not be as patient and I may not be as forgiven in a certain way when it comes to them targeting me. So why would I put myself in that position, and why would I put somebody else in a position where if they're literally really targeting me, that, I may go off on them. Right? So as much as they may want to, engage in certain types of rhetoric, understand that you need to do what's best for you as a TI. Okay? And a lot of times the reason why they want you to get into other relationship is to emotionally abuse you. Right? And they're not going to emotionally abuse me. Right? But who's to say, if I'm sleeping next to someone and I feel like something pricked me, that I may not just jumped up and start wailing on somebody? Okay? So why would I put myself through that? Why would I do that? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put myself at risk, putting anybody else at risk of me. And I just said I would. You know what I'm saying? But, they may target me in a different way. They may, put certain things in my mind, or they may do certain things just to see if I'm going to act in a certain way. And if I do, again, there's the excuse to say, well, you did this or she did this, and you know what I'm saying? And I'm not, no. This is why I wear the Ankh with the Eye of Horus. Okay? It's not an evil eye, as Europeans tell you. They know the true meaning of it. Okay? That eye, in the Eye of Horus, is your consciousness, your ability to see far and wide, the manipulation, the ills within the society, to see people's character. Okay? To have an analytical mind instead of going by emotions, because too many of us today are conditioned subconsciously to go by our emotions, to not think, but to let our subconscious mind control what we do. This is how they've entrapped us, by creating a subconscious mind that is detrimental to us, to the individual, and to each other.
Why are you disappointed? Okay? I've watched Japanese women do surgery to open their eyes because they want to look more Europeans. Right? So it's not just us as black people who have self-hatred, but it's every country in which white Westerners have colonized, right? They have engaged in programming the minds of those people to hate themselves and to want to be white. It is a destructive thing that Caucasians have done to the majority of people on this planet. Right? And they have no accountability. The reason why,
right? Because they're the one that ultimately created this white supremacist system, the ideology, right? And the reason why they created is to separate not only non-white people, but also poor white people from non-white people who have more in common with each other. Okay?
why we have all these migrants today is because of what the U.S. have done in South America, what they have done in Panama, what they have done in Nicaragua, what they have done in Colombia, what they've done in Guatemala.
Get to do what it is that they've done to the rest of the world, and including those people here, and including myself, right? And I can't say anything about it because they've damaged me, and they've damaged my spine, damaged my brain, right? And then use my disability as a tool to try to silence me. Like, what kind of sick shit is that? Right? What kind of depraved minds will even think of something like that? But we know that these people have depraved minds, okay? We know the dark triads, okay? Can't put nothing past them.
Right? So nigga appears in their dumbass self, walking around here like if they're they're better than anybody else. You're not better than anybody else. Y'all nigga peers. Y'all got white supremacist mind. You ain't better than me, and I ain't better than you. But you think because you got a nice job and you got a job and you got a nice car that you better. You ain't better because guess what? That's how they shut your ass up. Because the minute you start talking about any sort of racism, watch how white people start treating you differently. And you don't want to lose what you gave. What they gave you. You may think you gave it. No, what they gave you. Okay? Because you get ready to sell that house and they depreciate your house value by $150,000. We've seen it. And instead of working together, instead of putting aside our religious differences, we're in love with each other, we're in love with ourselves and each other.
Back here. Keep pressing the wall.
Instead of putting aside our religious differences.
Right, I got to get the sound effect from Funk Flex, right? The drop bombs, right? Sometimes I'm like, it takes me back to my old DJ days, especially doing these videos with the sound effects, But I don't want to do too much. But sometimes I'm like, yeah, I should get those sound effects. But now, I want to use the sound effects that they use on me when I'm speaking what it is that they do. Okay, and so again, just to keep things in the more in terms of the realistic concept, the realistic context in what I'm talking about and what it is that they do. Okay, but sometimes I do wish I had that bomb sound if I can drop some bombs.
We're in love with religion more than we're in love with ourselves and each other. Talking about Jesus and this and that. Fuck your Jesus. I said it again. Fuck your Jesus. Right? $84 trillion in wealth is going to be transferred to white people. And the decade after that, black people will have zero wealth in this country. So fuck your Jesus. But y'all nigga peers love Jesus.
Oh, and they'll hear me.
Y'all ain't even thinking about y'all.
Listen, they'll hear me say fuck their Jesus, and they'll be like, oh, we got to get him. Meanwhile, like I said, they're not getting those white supremacists. They're not getting those racist cops in the New York Predator Department. All right? They're not getting their racist boss, their racist coworkers. Right? I was just having a back and forth on Facebook on, you have this woman who says that, what does she say? That she talks about how a woman making six figures, that she shouldn't be dating a man making less. Okay, right? That's what they say, right? So I said, okay, well, that's fine, but guess what? The men that these women want are not looking to date them. These high salary women. Right? And so she responded to me back saying that it's a lie. I'm like, how is it a lie? So, of course, it has always been this way. When you look at 50 years ago, okay, or even 100 years ago, right? Older men would court younger women. Because why? Older men had status, and particularly if they're well-to-do. But it has always been like that. But I want you to understand how the feminist mindset works, particularly when it comes to the feminist Negropean mindset, or the feminist female Negropean mindset, right? That they ignore the reality, right, of what men say they want, because in their mind, they're going to give the men what they think or who they are, which is not what those men want. So you're either going to take me as I am, right? Or I'm gonna be by myself. I'm gonna start dating other women. There are black women doing videos saying that the way how we handle the passport bro situation or these men situation is to start dating each other, like literally. These are Negropean women saying that. So I had to stop myself from saying black women. These are Negropean women saying that. Again, that's their agenda. All right. Men who are well established, right? If they're married and became well established, after if they get a divorce, after the divorce, they date younger women. Men who are well established, who are not married, they date younger women and end up marrying younger women. Why? Because they're more agreeable, meaning that they're more moldable, right? They're come with less baggage, less sexual experience. Okay. They tend to be more feminine, right? And because they're being given a lifestyle in which, you know, a young man their age cannot provide, right? And they have more to lose, so they remain more committed. Okay. So when women say this, and then you got the Negropean brother, so, you know, one of the things that she said, she's like, well, good luck, cause your way of thinking is crazy. That's not my way of thinking. I don't think like that, but that's not my way of thinking. That's the reality. But I want you to understand how they've been so conditioned to think that what goes on in their mind, okay, is what men should accept, rather than them giving those men what they want. Okay? Because you see, for black women, for Negropean women, when they see an older black man with a younger black woman, they'll call them all kind of names. But they see older white men with younger black women all the time. And they don't call those white men derogatory names. Okay? They don't. I watched a video with this wealthy white Canadian man talking about what he was doing is that he was dating these young black models, getting them pregnant, okay, and then convincing them to have an abortion, right? Send them to a doctor, and that doctor would take the aborted fetus, and they took the stem cells from the aborted fetus and injected into themselves to maintain to look younger. Right? Do you see these Negropean women up in arms? If that was a black man doing, and again, black men wouldn't do that, right? But if it was a black man doing that, they would call him out every name in the book. Right? So like I said, so when they make statements like that, I just like to give them the facts. Right? So I give them articles, marriage.com, men prefer younger women, you know, because again, that has always been what men prefer. Either you're the same age. I mean, yes, a man would date an older woman, all right, if she is fit, if she's beautiful, right? But most women today, particularly black women, they have children. You have more black women have children more than black men. Okay? Think about that. More black women have children more than black men. All right? And again, I could look it up, but I'm going to let you do that. Okay? Because again, it's the fact. So when they push these false narratives, you have to ask yourself, where are they getting these narratives from? And why are they pushing it? When you can do a Google search and get the reality. Right? But they've conditioned most people to not want to look for information, not to seek knowledge. So that's why. Okay? So then the brother, you know, the Negropean brother, made a comment saying that, let me get this right. You're saying men making six figures prefer average salary women because they're more feminine, submissive, and agreeable? Yes. And he says that logic is outdated. No, it is not, my brother. No, it is not. No, it is not. It is not outdated. What do we see today? You look at Robert De Niro. You look at Leonardo DiCaprio, right? You look at these wealthy men, and these are white men, by the way. They're all dating very young women in their 20s. And these men are in their 40s, 50s. Robert De Niro just had a child with a very young woman. That's why they date young women. Women are more young women are more feminine. They're more fertile. Okay? They're more agreeable. right? And they're more concerning towards the men that they are dating. Because why are they more concerned? Because again, they have more to lose, right? Because if a man is affording you a lifestyle that you would never even get, right? You know what I'm saying? You're going to do whatever you can to, you know what I'm saying, for some women. But dating older women, they have their own mind. You can't tell them nothing. You can't tell them anything like that. Particularly if they're making 6 figures, you can't tell them nothing. And men don't want that headache. Men don't want to be fighting all the time with masculine energy, right? That look like a woman. Men not, they don't want to do that. Okay, all right. So anyhow,
damn children. Teach indoctrinate your children with more fucking religion. Look at how the world is moving today. And instead of trying to prepare your children for the world to come, which they already said that you're not going to be a part of, okay? You're not going to be a part of their new world, black people. Negro peers, I should say. They've said it. They've said it. Black people will not be part of the new world. This is why in America, this is why they are destroying the wealth of black people. Okay, but y'all nigga peers don't want to listen. Y'all want to engage in y'all little, foolishness. Go ahead. Go ahead. Because if you believe in your God, the foolishness that y'all believe in is why God is punishing you. Okay? If you believe in your God. If that's your God, that's the reason why God is punishing you. Because the foolishness y'all want to get engaged in. That the people who've been telling y'all the truth, y'all want to ignore. For feel-good service, feel-good sermon. Making these pastors rich. Do these pastors seem concerned, these black pastors seem concerned about black people having zero wealth by the year 2054 or 55? Or is it 2053? Right? Zero wealth for black people. Come on now. Always posting scriptures and about this. Somebody posted scriptures. They talk about God. What's shit? Some stupid shit they always say. But let God define it. Let God. And this person is a TI. Yeah, God defined you to be a TI, huh? You a TI. God defined you to be a TI. God defined you to be experimented on. Huh? Right? God defined you to do those things, right? God defined you so that people can come and implant you and drug you and do all this stuff to you. And it just goes to show you how powerful, again, religious indoctrination is. And the people that gave us this religion don't care about you. They don't care about you. Saving your soul. They're not saving their soul. They're not worried about saving their soul. Right? They're not doing that. Okay? Black people talk about, I'm afraid for my soul to burn in hell. You think these racist white people are afraid who gave you the Bible, who in church on a Sunday? You think that they're worried about their soul burning in hell? You think their ancestors, the slave masters of our ancestors, who raped, murdered, mutilated, stole, you think that they were worried about their soul going to hell? But y'all don't stop to think about that shit, do y'all? Nope. Y'all do not stop to think about that shit, do y'all? Well, y'all don't. But you worry about your soul going to hell. Because you tell a little lie. Right? What about the white racists who lied and say Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. And they decimated the country. They killed millions of its people. Millions of its people. You think they're worried about their soul burning in hell? The lies that they tell? Huh? You think these racist pigs and these racist Sambos and Sabinas of the police force worry about their soul burning in hell? And they're in church on a Sunday. They're wearing the cross around their neck. Huh? While they brutalizing your children on the streets? Huh? While they engage in predatory ticket riding? Stealing money from the poor? You think that they're worried about their soul burning in hell? Huh? You think the tens of thousands of police officers who engage in some of the worst crimes, human trafficking, sex trafficking, right? Drug dealing, you know what I'm saying? Brutality. Do you think that they are worried about their soul burning in hell? Or do you think they justify by saying, oh, well, I'm God's soldier, I'm God's warrior, right? God put me in the position that I am to do a lot of justice. That's a sick, narcissistic, dog-tried, psychopathic, sociopathic mindset. That's who they are. Okay? Y'all need to wake up your eyes, particularly for my people, black people. White people, y'all need to wake up your eyes, particularly poor white people. Because guess what? Y'all not going to be part of the new world either. Okay? Y'all not going to be part of the new world, poor white people. Alright? So this idea of being bigoted and racist towards other groups of people because of their color, that's the one thing that they did to y'all, poor white people, to keep us separated, so that we can never come together. And again, if you go and you look at Google Bacon Rebellion, you'll see how fear drove the plantation owners to create what you are today, called white people. Okay? While they continue to subjugate you, continue to steal from you, right? But you're better than a black person because you're white, right? Right? But the poorest white man thinks he's better than the wealthiest black man. Because the poorest white man can say, look, he got all that money, but he ain't white. Okay? Yes, that black man got all that money, he live in a mansion, but guess what? He's still a nigga. He ain't white. But the poorest white man say that shit. So I understand their mindset. Or they see their color. And they can be in the poorest condition, but they're white. So that in itself is an upliftment in their mind every single day. Their condition may be just like us. They may be poor like us. Right? But they don't have a defeated mindset. They don't have a learned helplessness mindset because they know the resources of this country is there for them. Right? Again, the vast majority of white people in America, or I should say the vast majority of the people who are on welfare, public assistance, any sort of government aid, any sort of government subsidies, are white Americans. Okay? But they keep fooling you Europeans into thinking that you are the ones who are bleeding the U.S. government, I should say the social safety network dry. No, it is not neither poor white people nor poor black people. It is corporate America, white-owned corporate America. Okay? And it is European countries who the U.S. government and Israel is going to give hundreds of billions of dollars each year in aid. If they make corporations pay their taxes, we don't have to worry about the insolvency of the social safety net. Every economist will tell you that. Even conservative economists, if they're honest, will tell you that. Right? Hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes are not paid by corporations. Okay? If these corporations pay their taxes every year, there'll be no more talking about the social safety network headed towards insolvency. There will be no talk of that. But they use it as a narrative. They use it as a narrative, right? To blame certain people, and of course it's black people. Right? This is how black people blame each other for every damn thing. Like I said, I would never blame my black brothers and sisters for our condition, for our mindset, for the way we act and we behave. We live under a system of white supremacy who have conditioned us to be a certain way. And if you don't understand that, if you're a nigger who don't understand that, you think it's God's, the reason why you're going to do this because of God, then you're a damn fool. You're a damn fool. Alright? You're a damn fool. And I say it over again. Right? Stop teaching and indoctrinating your children with religion, particularly at a young age. Okay, particularly at a young age. Stop doing it. You are destroying the minds of your children. Okay? Make sure that you spend quality time with your children. Make sure that the majority of your time, you say if you're working in your home, make sure that the majority of the time that you're home is with your family and not in the churches. Build strong black family. Build strong black children who know, who understand, who have wisdom, not belief. Belief don't give you wisdom. Okay? You may sound good with the religious jargon. You know, always talking about, oh, it's a season and a season and a season. They only say that shit to manipulate your mind. Oh, you know, yes, I know my season gonna come. But your season, I tell you what, you sit down there and do nothing, your season ain't gonna come. And that's what the majority of y'all do. I'm talking about Christians, particularly poor, disadvantaged people who call themselves Christian, whether they're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. Okay? Learn how to elect good people who are willing to fight for you and not for corporate America. Learn how to elect people in the government, right, who are going to go into battle for you, who are going to improve your life and your situation, not their own pockets. And they sound good, but they're not doing shit for us. And the more they indoctrinate us more and more with religion, particularly using silent sound, microwave radio wave frequency, and the more we remain ignorant about these technologies, is the more and more our young men and women are going to be set up, abused, used in a manner in which you're going to regret. You're going to regret it. Okay? Believe you me. Believe me, you are going to regret it. Okay? You are going to regret it. Okay? And don't make them manipulate you into thinking that you're a chosen person. Chosen for what? You're either chosen to represent white supremacy, right? Or you're chosen to speak the truth, therefore, they're going to attack you in ways which you've never seen. But like I said, I'm here to expose it. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to expose it. Okay? That's what I'm here to do, expose it. Don't let them manipulate you. Don't let them manipulate your children. Learn the reality, learn the truth. Okay? And I'm going to talk about certain things, like I said, that I have to do videos on. So maybe I'll take the time this week to do, being that I'm home this week. So I want to take the time to speak on, do these videos. Also, they just send me some message about anybody watching my videos or what have you. They're going to send the cops. I don't give a fuck. My videos is up there. You want to send the cops? Send the cops. You send them all the damn time. Okay? I'm not afraid of police. Remember, they're afraid of me. Remember that. as black men, the police are afraid of us, right? So we shouldn't be afraid of them. But they want to make us afraid of them.
All right. And so, excuse me. And so, why do I say that? Why do I say that? Because every time there's a police incident where a black person is brutalized, killed, right? What do these cops say? That they were afraid for their life. Well, what did he do to make you afraid for your life? Well, he clenched his fists, or he tensed up, right? Not the fact that, the person drew a weapon, right? Or the person attacked them, right? It is those things that they always come up with in their minds, in their racist, delusional mind. Just as I was in the beginning of this video to talk about the excuse police use to get away with murdering black people, right? So they come up with these new terms as to why this black person died at the hands of the police while that person is in their custody. Okay? So why should I be afraid of them? When every time I see them on TV, after they kill somebody, kill a black person, they're afraid for their life. It's funny how they're never afraid for their life when these white men walking on the streets with AR-15s. Okay? It's funny a black person can call them on a white man who threatened to shoot them. They confronted this man, going to arrest him, and allow him to go into his home, come out with an AR-15 and kill them. Right? They're not afraid to die at the hands of these white fanatics. But a black man, a black woman, a black child, right? They're afraid. Go figure.
Because they're afraid of us. Right? I understand the way white supremacy work, people. And I talk about these raids that they do on black children and single mothers, I should say single, but mothers who are the head of the household living with children, right? When they raid their apartment, they raid their house, terrorize them. It is what? It is to create a fear within the minds of black children. A fear. You have to understand what white supremacy is in its totality. Not because some white person call you the N-word. We react or we get over emotional about that shit. But we don't get over emotional when they poison our children every single year with lead. Right? We don't get over emotional when they put the chemicals in our foods, right, to kill us slowly. We don't do that shit, right? We don't get over emotional when they put in metal in baby cereals and sell it in our community. Right? We don't get upset over that shit, do we? The nigga peers will walk around here like, they're mad at me because of something somebody told them. You know what I'm saying? Bunch of dumbasses. Right? Let me tell you something. I don't care what you do. Nobody can ever come to me and tell me to engage in what y'all do to me. Right? That's what makes us different. We ain't the same. We ain't the same. They know who to go to, just as how in Nazi Germany, they know which of the turncoats to go to. You had European Jews snitching on other European Jews. And in Germany, it was even, as I said, Germany in the 80s, was just a Zoom, but you had family members snitching on other family members because they were jealous and they were whatever. Right? You had those on the police force, secret police, breaking up people's relationship and marriages. Okay? You had them drugging people. In the 80s, the CIA mass drugging of the American public. Going into bars, restaurants, clubs, slipping drugs in people's drink. Okay? Come on now. I need to go on about Operation Climax. Right? CIA drugging of America. Right? It was more widespread and prognosis than they want you to believe. Still goes on today. Talk to you guys later.
right, so that was quite a a pretty long video. This one not so long.
Sirens. You guys hear the sirens?
Yep.
All right. So one of the new hand signals that they do now is, and I saw this. You know, I've seen it before. They've done it before. But I was watching a video with Jay-Z, and he was, you know, somewhere he was walking, and then he did something like this. Let me show you guys. Okay, new hand signal. You know, I like to expose this, and then the bus driver did the same thing, right? So they put their hands like this, right? And they'll go like this with their hands down like that. And you know, like I said, I always observe stuff first before I make a comment on it. I always observe things first before I make a comment, because I want to make sure that it is a pattern that they have been engaged in. It's a pattern that I'm seeing. Because you remember, when they're conditioning you, they do it through patterns of repetitions, right? And so another ambulance. Okay, so that's what they've been doing. And it's funny too, because I was talking about Jay-Z, and I watched the video the next day. Again, that's the silent sound, right? They could direct you to watch certain things. I was talking about how Jay-Z, you know, none of these rappers who have become multi-millionaire. Jay-Z's what, a billionaire now? You know, and instead of using some of his financial resources to help the people in the community that he grew up in, right? That they don't think like that. You know, he grew up in Marcy's project. Well, how about partnering with the city? Just as I forgot there's a baseball player. What's his name? There's a baseball player who teamed up with the city to build affordable housing for, for people in the Bronx. It was in the Bronx, right? It was a long time ago, because I remember when, I was living in the Bronx. That it was being built, right? And when I go pick up my son, so that they had already built the building. It was a nice building too, right? I say right, yeah. I'm in the background, yeah, right, yeah. Any words with the R words, like I'm right, or anything reward. You know what I'm saying? They will engage in that in the sirens, okay? R's, W's, L, level up, that sort of thing. Rising, the rise of what they consider to be a black messiah, right? But no, it's the rise of the conscious mind within black people. That's what they are against. That's what they are fighting against. They don't want black people to become conscious, right? And like I said, they said that black people is not going to be part of the new world. That's what they said. So yeah, look, I'm standing here. I look over across the street, up at the window, and there's a guy standing there, right? There's a guy standing there, right? Wearing a black shirt, just standing with his back against the window. Look at that. Look at that, right up there. Okay. Anyhow, right. So they don't want black people having conscious mind. Okay, because when you have a conscious mind, you know who you are, you see what's going on around you, and eventually, if enough of us become conscious, we start to make a change. Okay, and they don't want that. They want to keep us subservient. They want to keep us as a permanent underclass. Right? They want to keep us as religious believers, telling us bullshit, about supernatural shit and this and that. It's all mystical manipulation, right? Robert J. Lipton, the 8 criteria of thought reform. It's brainwashing, psychological manipulation. And we have to understand what's going on, okay? For our assurance sake. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys in this video.
All right. So this was a pretty long video, but I had to do it this way because, again, uploading videos to YouTube, right? It's I'm limited to the amount of videos I can upload, and it's not like before where I, could. I mean, I had this channel for what, over a decade, right? So it is what it is, right? So I just got to find ways, again, to expose what's being done and do it in such a way that, I can also give you guys a little bit more information, right? So, them doing what they did, made me do this, and this is even better, right? Anyhow, share these videos. Okay, I know they shadow ban my YouTube channel, but if you're a TI and you like the videos, again, if you're feeling some type of way because some of the things that I say on there, listen, there's not, I'm not trying to target anybody in any way, so I always watch what I say, and certain things I try not to engage in, certain things, like certain words I try not to say, because again, understanding how I've been conditioned, and I know you've been conditioned the same way too, so I try to stay from certain words and stuff like that, right? So, but if you like the video, share it, right? Get people to subscribe, because they I noticed that whenever I get a lot of views on my videos, and again, my subscription, the amount of people who subscribe to my videos have been at the same level for, well over 2 years or so. Well, before that, I think I was like at 1,000, and then people started subscribing, and I appreciate that. I really do, right? But don't just say hit the subscription button. If you're a TI, share it with other TIs and make people become aware of what's being done. Okay. All right. So I'll talk to you guys, like I said, on the next video.